Where do the reports come from? Did you get an initial?
One Pod Vader.
That's football.
Every angle of the NFL covered.
All that kind of stuff, I get it.
This,
no question about it,
is Next Fan Up.
We're going to unleash hell here in December.
Hello and welcome to the SuperFan Battle Showdown edition of the Next Fan Up podcast. Hey everybody, Pod Vader here. Again, not involved in any SuperFan battles, but we've got quite a number of them here for you to dig in deeper on some of the biggest games of the week. We want to help spotlight those with our SuperFan battles. They will go head-to-head, mano-a-mano, duking it out, and sometimes there'll even be a wager put on the line, like in the case of the Chiefs-Raiders game. Not exactly a game of the week. I certainly didn't pick it as a game of the week, but when you can get Nick and Monty together on a show, you don't pass that sort of thing up. And they have a pretty interesting wager coming up, too. Hey, you want to get involved with us? All you have to do is send us an email, nextfanup@gmail.com. You can tweet us at NFU Podcast, facebook.com/NFU Podcast. I know we got some new people on our Facebook page. Check us out there. Anywhere great podcasts are heard, that's where you get this show. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Leave us a review. Share with a friend. Listen, enjoy. It's a fantastic show, and I leave it now to the SuperFans.
All right, this is Chris, your Saint Superfan, here with Jared. Jared, our in-house Rams fan. Redemption Tour 2020 stops off in LA for New Orleans. And here we are. We all know how the NFC Championship game ended. Some of us, myself, still not over it. Still don't care. But I know both teams are saying it's just a game, blah, 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 blah. What I want to hear is from you. What do you think is going to pan out here? What are you expecting in this, I'm assuming, half sold out stadium in LA since they can't sell tickets? Tell me, buddy, your Rams, how are they going to match up here? What are they going to do to win this?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. This should have been the opening game of the new stadium if they didn't have all the construction delays. I'm really bummed it's still in the Coliseum. But, yeah, it will – the half-sold stuff, that was more the tail end of the Jeff Fisher era. I expect the sellout. I expect it to be pretty loud. I mean, as loud as an outdoor stadium can be. But, I mean, we'll never touch the Superdome. But yeah, it should be.
You can't even catch when USC plays there.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But the Rams are still rebuilding their fan base, and I'm expecting it to be better once they're in their new stadium. But yeah, it should be. I expect a lively game. I expect both teams to. I mean, the Saints are mad at the Rams how the game ended. The Rams are upset about having to answer questions about. I think both teams are going to be as fired up as you can be for a
is that the problem?
Week 2 game.
They had to answer questions about stealing a Super Bowl appearance. Oh man, bummer.
It wasn't the only bad call in that game, and there was lots of plays after that. But yes, it'll be a lively game for sure, and I expect it to be, I expect it to be in the 30s in terms of scoring, probably a lot of offense, and hopefully the Rams will kick up some of the rust. They were a little rusty in their game against Carolina last week, but yeah, I'm glad this wasn't a week 1 game because the Rams did everybody in the preseason, and hopefully they'll be a little crisper. I mean, they definitely had some good performances, but I'm hoping to be a little crisper on offense. The passing game, yeah, the Rams running game was definitely looking good. And I'm sure they're going to want to look to establish the run. But yeah, it should be, I'm hoping for at least with the Rams on offense, establish the run and maybe I think Goff didn't look too much downfield. He was looking more for shorter stuff. So maybe expand the offense a little more. And, but yeah, I mean, but maybe they will rely more on the run because it seemed like that was, how the Texans were able to move the ball a little better. But yeah, I expect Gurley to be more involved. He only had 14 touches. He should be up more around 18 to 22 in this game. But at least that's what at least the Rams look like on offense. How do you think the Saints will be on defense?
I hope they hurt everybody. I hope it's just a complete injured fest. It bums me out for the first time ever. Greg Williams is no longer the defensive coordinator in New Orleans. I'd like to have him back for this game. Look, man, I hope the Saints are as salty as I am. They gave up a lot of big plays against Houston. Sure, Houston had some really talented players and caught them with their pants down a little bit. But this needs to be, the catalyst for the season. I hope they go up there and they just knock the snot out of them. And bear with me, really hard not to curse on this show. The Saints, they gave a lot of rushing yards last week, which is one of the biggest problems. But they were down their top three techniques. None of them played in the game. It's looking like they're going to get Anya Mata and Mario Edwards back for this game, so at least they'll have number 2 and 3, respectively, on the depth chart. We could send our kids back to practice squad where they belong instead of starting them this week, so that'll be nice. The Rams, look, they're one of two things. They're either one of the best offenses in the league, or based on what we saw in the Super Bowl and what we saw frankly, against Carolina last week, they're not as dangerous as we think they are. And I think the Saints have a chance to go ahead and pull that off and show the world that. As far as the Saints offense goes, they were kind of firing on all cylinders last week. Looking forward to seeing what they have in store this week. I do expect to see a lot of not necessarily deep plays against the Rams defense, but your corners aren't known for their speed. I would expect to see more out of Keith Kirkwood and Ted Ginn this game, spreading the field a little bit and a little bit of a revenge game for Jared Cook, I think. But yeah, look, you're not going to get me to say a nice thing about the Rams this week or really anything positive. I hope they go in there and they kill them. What's your prediction? How do you think this pans out?
Real quick, Rams on defense, I would say. Oh,
I'm sorry, we skipped that. I'm just so ready to get to the.
No, it's okay. I would say for Rams defense, the biggest threat to how the Rams defense is Kamara. I know Thomas had that huge game in the regular season last year. That was, but I think with Talib on him, that'll help. And yeah, I could see Ginn maybe getting deep. And also, but yeah, Kamara, that he's torched them in the past. I think he even did it when he was a rookie. And Christian McCaffrey was just 200 yards offense. And that's the type of guy, that's the type of speed, fast back that the Rams don't match up well against. So I don't know if they'll put Littleton on him or maybe even bring Taylor Rapper, one of the safeties, in, do a 3-safety type of thing. To stop him. But yeah, I'm thinking that that'll be the focus of the defense and hopefully the Saints have a good offensive line, so they're going to have to earn whatever sacks or pressure they get, but definitely want to get the ball out of Breeze's hand quickly. But yeah, should be a hard fought game, both sides of the ball. Prediction, of course, Rams fan, I don't know if I've ever said the Rams are going to lose and never been on those shows. Maybe in the Jeff Fisher years, but I think it's going to be low 30s, so maybe 31, 34, something like that. Rams pull it out at the end, but wouldn't be shocked with a loss here with just the anger of the Saints coming in. So I'm excited. It'd be nice if it was Sunday night or Monday night game, but I'm glad it's the game of the week. I definitely think it's one of the top 3 or 4 games of the NFL season. It's kind of weird it's this early, and it's not a primetime game, but yeah, it should be a very live atmosphere, or as live as a NFL third year in LA could be. How about you? What's your prediction?
Well, there's what should happen, and there's what will probably happen. And what should happen is the Saints just destroy them. Just body bags all over the place. Goff catches some weird disease to where they have to remake the movie Outbreak to explain the story. I hope they cast him with some terrible actor like Josh Hartnett. I want everything bad possibly, basically what's happening right now to the Jets, I want to happen to the Rams. It's what should happen. What will happen? The refs are going to dictate the end of the game. I think they're going to keep it close. And yeah, I think your 31-27 prediction is pretty accurate to where we're going to end up. Who knows? It really comes down to. I do. I think it comes down to the refs. I think you're either going to get make-up call city, where they just heavily one-sided for the Saints, or, it's important for the Rams to be good. So, and this could be a way for them to try to, quote-unquote, prove the Rams should have won that game. So, 31-27, the refs will decide. That's how I'm going to end that one.
Are you going to be I saw some of the Saints fans wearing the refs jerseys. Do you think there'll be any Saints fans traveling with ref jerseys? If the refs are smart, they'll just stay out of the way. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah,
for the record,
I would not want to be a ref in the game.
they look like idiots, for the record. All of the fans, everyone that dresses a referee. The Saints fan base doesn't travel well, I would say, but they are, man, unless you're in the South. I mean, if you're in Atlanta or New Orleans or Houston, the Saints travel. I don't think they'll make a lot out to LA. But who knows, man? Saints fans, myself included, are still fired up and upset about this. So maybe there's a blackout in LA, and they kind of get back some of the home field advantage that LA's going to have. But with that being said, that is our prediction. Revenge Week 2020. Pod, back to you. Thanks, Jared.
Thanks.
Hello. Green Bay Brian here to talk a little Packers-Vikings matchup in Week 2 of the NFL. The Next Fan Up podcast is currently without a Minnesota SuperFan, so if you would like to be that person, if you think you can fill those shoes, two things. First of all, condolences. Second of all, send an email to nextfanup@gmail.com. We'd love to add that position to our roster and hear from you as the experts. The expert that I have lined up for us today is none other than my good friend Josh, our Lions super fan. Josh, how are things?
Hey, things are going pretty good. If I was a Vikings fan, because we'd have a win instead of a tie as the Lions super fan.
That's right. Hey, look on the bright side though. At least you're not last in the division.
Yeah, that is quite true. Great point.
But that's not what we're here to talk about today, even though I may want to. What we're here to talk about is Minnesota, and man, oh man, that running game looks pretty strong. What did you see?
Yeah, I actually watched just as much of this game thanks to my red zone not working until very late in the 1 o'clock window. But so I got to watch a lot of this Minnesota and Atlanta game, and Minnesota really was doing exactly what we saw them fire their previous offensive coordinator for not doing late last season, which was run the ball. And boy, did they ever. Kirk Cousins, of course, only threw the ball 10 times. I think it's going to be a little unreasonable to expect that sort of sparse passing in the NFL in 2019, but for a second game in a row, I should say. But, maybe it's going to be somewhere similar, like maybe, 18 pass attempts. They really made him a game manager in the last game. And I expect that in the Green Bay game here, in Lambeau this week. I think they'll probably do more of the same. I really expect them to slow this pace down. The Packers, they basically were running at a quicker pace than I remember last season. And I don't know if that's, some of the new coaching. You would know better